Hi, we're here at the Marriott Marquis, New York, for the Young Investigators meeting of the iwCLL. This is the most important CLL meeting in the world that happens every 2 years. And I'm Jacqueline Barrientos. I work at the Hofstra Northwell School of Medicine, and I'm here with my co-chairs, Dr. Pablo Oppezzo from Argentina and Dr. Chen from New York. We will be discussing what we saw today in our Young Investigators meeting. As you are all aware, the field is exploding with research, and we need the young blood and investigators to talk and show us their new discoveries. So thank you so much for being here. And with that, I would like to discuss your opinion of what we saw today.
So I will start. So I was actually very surprised by those excellent talks today. So we actually have talks that cover the basic biology, like the one from Dr. Stefanos, that actually did a study to see if there's a difference in the initiation of the disease. And then we also have the studies focusing on the potential future treatments, all the combination treatment with ibrutinib and those targeted therapy to not the tumor cells, but the microenvironment, which is the hot topic right now. Even though it's called Young Investigator Meeting, but I actually think the talks today are actually very excellent and very comparable to the main meeting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By my part, I have highlight the importance that have the study of basic research and how this basic research could give many ideas for the application clinical. Especially the work of, by example, analyzing how some drugs that are usually used in the treatment of CLL, how this drug could modify the microenvironment, and in this line is very important to now to take into account that not only is the tumoral clone that is modified at the genomic level, but also the another field as T cell or nurse-like cell that have an important role in the disease.
So, for example, Dr. Borge from Argentina presented data of ibrutinib and how it can affect the macrophage in preclinical studies. And this is important because in some areas in Latin America and other countries outside of the US, we have issues with tuberculosis. How do you think this will affect moving forward the way that you do clinical practice and studies in Latin America?
Your example is clear. This work, maybe we expect that in the clinical area, the clinician take into account this result in order to looking and put attention in the patient that are suffering tuberculosis after to give this drug.
And as you remember from today's meeting, the German CLL study group presented the data on the outcomes based on gender. So, Shih, what is your opinion on the outcomes in women that they presented from their data that women do have the same overall survival and the same response rate, however, they tend to relapse later on than men?
So there's for sure more studies have to be follow up for that observation. Like the speaker mentioned, if there are actually a lot of clinical trials have done in ibrutinib, but just people never pay attention to the difference in genders. But with more data, I think we'll have that will change the treatment in the future. I believe if that holds true for the when the sample size is even larger.
And Pablo, what is your opinion about complex karyotype? Do you remember from the presentation?
Yes.
Complex
yes.
karyotype seems to be an emerging, marker for outcomes for patients with CLL.
This war is a really interesting war, and the karyotype, as you say, and the person that talked about this, I think that is a great and important issue, and I also seen that the clinician could be a very interesting help for or to take in account this this maybe prognosis marker in the CLL in the biology of the disease. Yeah.
Yes, and so Shih, how do you see the research moving forward? What do you think the next 5 years will give us?
That's a great question. With so many novel therapies now available, for the therapy part, like what we discussed today, there will be a lot of different combinations we can try. But I think it's actually more important now for the basic researchers to know how to actually prevent the disease rather than treating the disease. So how can you use these drugs to really doing the treatment at earlier, and then maybe that can prevent the disease progression when the disease is even more aggressive, harder to control.
So in a way, bringing down the tumor burden so that you avoid some of the complications that you see when you wait for too long.
Exactly. Then you don't probably you don't even need a combination therapy for.
And you saw data from Dr. Ann from the NIH today from doing a little bit of chemotherapy, fludarabine, in combination with ibrutinib. Do you think that the future will be, at least how do you feel it will be in Argentina? The drug will be given as single agent or combination, or we need more data for that?
I think that and principally in South America, we have an important problem with the high economic costs that have this drug. So obviously, is the combined therapy.
Maybe a way to then minimize the impact of the cost on the patient, and so maybe it would be something doable or more acceptable for the country as a whole, in a sense that maybe you can achieve a higher rate of response or a deepened remission, and so that you can stop the drug and then let the patient continue off therapy, the same way that we do with chemotherapy. With that, we're very happy to have discussed some of the major trials that we're presenting today. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add that you think should have been mentioned during this review of the talks for today? They were all excellent talks, very high quality research. The investigators showed us a lot of promising data and a lot of hope for the future that these new investigators will be the new leaders in the future. So
we hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.